Hey guys, this is a weirder video. I didn't feel like hopping on Minecraft today, and I wanted to spend the day outside reading this book I got from the library, Vinland Saga. I've only seen the anime, but I've been really wanting to read the manga, and it's just so good. So, what I've been thinking about today is I I think all basically all religion, its primary goal is to make you better. I like Christianity, Judaism, Jehovah's Witness, Buddhism, uh, uh, Islam. All of them, the whole point of them is you gotta, you're trying to make yourself a better person and that type of stuff. It's to better yourself. And I think, well, I'm more Buddhist. One of something I've seen and just noticed that I think is completely silly and I think is a pretty good point. I'm not very knowledgeable on Christianity, so I can't say what I'm going to say is very accurate, but I've I've seen people pray to God for wellness and like family and that type of stuff. And while that's good, I think you sh- it's like you shouldn't pray for to have stuff done through God, right? Like the whole, like part of the thing is God's gonna give you the strength to do it yourself. And I think that's a much stronger philosophy because if God is all loving and all knowing and he's he's the father of mankind, right? A parent is gonna hold their kid accountable and focus on trying to make them better instead of you know like what's it called like a bad parent in today's society would be one that just gives their kid everything they want and just says yes and doesn't let them work for themselves or find hardship, because then that kid is going to be set up to be unhappy later when if the parent isn't constantly helping, then it's going to feel terrible, but by comparison. And what's the joy in going through life if you complete if you get everything you want? So the people that pray for health and they end up getting sick, I've seen some people get complained about that and view it as a god's mad at me or something. What I think it is, or at least my belief on it, how you should take it, is that God is giving you a challenge to make yourself more well, because in biology, if you fight a cold, your immune system gets stronger to that kind of cold. And you know in a roundabout way, your prayer would come true. You would become more well and healthier. I think I said this in another video, but there's this I'll hold the camera like this. There's this belief that, what's it called, or saying, sorry, I'm stuttering over my words, of a foolish man prays for an easier road, a wise man prays for stronger legs. And I think every prayer should be about that. You shouldn't, or I mean you can, but if you pray for money, you shouldn't expect to just like get handed a check. You should like expect a hardship that like will get you a better job or will help you in some way that later will help you get money. You know? Because God's also supposed to be a teacher. Like, that's just my take on it. Again, I'm not Christian. I'm not very religious, and if anything, I'm Buddhist. But yeah, I think another thing about Christianity that I can just talk about, because I think this video is just going to be entirely on Christianity. False Christians, I feel like false Christians, in my opinion, that's using like the Lord's name in vain, you know? Like, if you're one of those people that is like actively mean to people, I mean, the same thing goes for like the fake Muslims that will do terribly mean things, but be like, no, pork is still haram. And like, if you're following a code of like any testament or commandments to be a better person, you should try to follow them, not perfectly, but, you know, because perfection's impossible. And, you know, a lot of really old text is very different than what it is today. Like, same thing with the Constitution. Except the Constitution gets revised at least a little bit. So, like, the Bible can't be, you know, we can't get, like, a New Testament today. So you just kind of have to, like, take into yourself and, like, it's not always the easiest decisions, but figure out what is still good today and what still isn't. Like gay people, for example, like being homophobic while trying to be like a pure Christian. I know your goal is to like save everybody, but like if you love another person regardless of gender completely, it's not like, you know, like if they like didn't even have like premarital sex and they were both like God-loving Christians that go to church on Sunday and donate to the food shelter and all that type of stuff. I feel like being gay can't be wrong then. It doesn't, like, it just sucks because our society kind of forces these pressures on a lot of things where, like, a lot of political debates, it's like, okay, you can't be a Christian because, like, gay people get grouped up with being extremely lustuous and like being spiteful or something like that. And it's like, you know, you can be straight and lustful too. I'm a pretty lustuous person, but I don't try to be, and I don't I'm constantly pushing for reform. But like I feel like that'd make me just as bad as a gay man in God's eyes. You know? And same thing with any of that stuff. I don't want this video to be political, but like false Christians, I think everyone can agree, if you have like a Bible verse in your bio and you spread the gospel but you don't follow it yourself, you know, that just makes Christianity look bad, so to speak. You know what I mean? You gotta focus on like being the person that God wants you to be. Like, once you think you're once you know you're in a good enough position that you you know, you would go to heaven and like be a good Christian, I feel like it should work like airplane safety rules, you know? Put on your mask before putting on anyone else's. Because, like, I feel like that's one of the worst things you could do as a Christian is push for this, like, push for other people to become Christian when, you know, you're leading by bad example. And I'm just using Christianity because I live in an area where there's a lot of Christianity, so I can see a lot of these examples. But I know the same thing happens for like like Islam and Buddhism and every other religion, like Judaism. You know, Mormon's another big one I know, but even Scientology. Like, you just gotta like focus on yourself mostly. I mean, if someone that you know is like, you think like you could help them in some way, obviously help them, but you shouldn't be helping anybody because you think that's what God wants you to do. You should be helping people because you want to help people and you think like, oh, my friend, you know, like, my friend is not like on a right path and I want to help save him, you know? Like, I think the happiest, like, if God exists, the happiest we could make him is if we could all be devout and kind to each other on earth and without needing his prayer or his intervention. Like, you know, if he's all knowing, all loving, all seeing, and all powerful, of course he's gonna want to help us regardless, but, you know, make his job a bit easier. You know? I I think that's the goal today, and yeah. So I'm gonna read I'm gonna read some Vinland Saga, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.